Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols, and I'm here to bring you a little bit of a different type of Nicholsworth today. I was asked the question, does font size really matter? Is it the most important thing? So I thought I'd break that down and let people know what matters a little bit more than font size. Check this out. Font sizes are often meaningless. Let's take that topic on for a second. How important is font size? There's an example here. This is the Compact Maclaren. I also call them the baby Maclaren, which really kind of annoys the publisher, but I think it's kind of funny. But it's a 7-point font, and a 7-point font is usually a little small for me. But when you take a look at this, these are really sharp because it's a 7-point. Number one, there's the Comfort Print font. So here's some things that matter besides font size when it comes to font. Number one is going to be darkness. The darkness of the font. If the font is really dark and really bold, then it's automatically going to be easier to read because it's going to contrast more strongly against that paper. A number two important thing, other than just font size, is the paper opacity, which this paper opacity is absolutely excellent. There's not a lot of ghosting in here. So whenever a font, no matter the size, if there's a lot of ghosting through on the other side of the page, then you're really going to have a difficult time reading it, especially if the font is lighter. So number one, you need your font to be dark. Number two, you need your paper to be opaque. Then number three, line matching. Line matching is actually way more critical than people give it credit for. As a matter of fact, that is one knock against the ESV Study Bible. As I don't know if you can tell, but the ESV Study Bible, it's not line matched. So you have a 9-point font, plus you have it's not line matched. I don't have much trouble with it because the paper opacity kind of makes up for it. Paper opacity when it comes to font is so underrated when it comes down to it. Font size is important, but you can get away with a smaller font if that paper is opaque and the font is nice and dark. And then when it's line matched as well, I mean, this is perfectly line matched. This is a 7-point font. We're in Isaiah 61. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the broken heart. A 7-point font. And I'm having no trouble reading this. And again, number one reason, font darkness. Number two reason, paper opacity. Number three thing is line matching. And then the fourth thing, which I think is incredibly important, is called leading. And the leading is the space between the lines of your text. There's something about having white space. So if you want to go for a smaller font, and number one, the paper is opaque. Number two, the font is dark. Number three, it is line matched. And number four, there's nice leading space. Then yes, absolutely, font size is not a friendly neighborhood. Jesus says font size are often meaningless. I don't know that I'd take it that far because, I mean, if you've got like a 4-point font, it doesn't matter how it's laid out. In fact, got another example here. This is from Tiny Bible. It's the same publisher that produces this. And I don't remember what size this font is, but it is little bitty. And I mean, yeah, I can't even begin to read this, but they provide this cool little magnifying glass. Now you have to pay extra for the little leather part, but they provide the glass itself, and you put it up to your eye and you move the Bible until you can see it. And you can read it, but it's not super convenient. The way I prefer to do it is to, there we go. All right, and of course I'm in Chronicles with the genealogies here. So yeah, and Ahitub begot Zadok, Zadok begot Ahimenez. Yeah, let's go somewhere else where I can actually read the words. That this is really cool. Here we go. It says, you have also taken your beautiful jewelry. This is in Ezekiel 16:17. So yeah, font size isn't everything, but it does matter because you're not reading that. So let's recap. What makes a difference besides font when it comes to readability? Number one, the darkness of the font itself. And I would say the font itself also counts too. If you have some kind of skinny, sleek font, it's going to be a little more difficult to read. For example, the BSB has a font that I would consider more difficult to read even though it's larger. Font type and font darkness, number one. Number two is going to be your paper opacity. Number three is going to be line matching. And then number four is going to be your leading space. If you've got those things going for you, then yeah, you can get away with a little bit of a smaller font. I prefer a 9 to 10-point font. That's like the sweet spot for me. And that's why I like the NKJV Maclaren. It's the perfect layout. Love it. All right. Oh yes, the Comfort Print, all of them are different. Each 2K Denmark developed a Comfort Print customized for each translation. The NIV has its own, the NASB has its own, Catholic Bibles have their own, KJV has its own, NKJV has its own, NET has its own. Did I miss any? RSV or NRSV and RSV have its own. And I think that's it. But yeah, they all have their own distinct comfort print, and it's pretty cool. My favorite is the New King James. My second favorite, y'all, is the NRSV. The NRSV has a really cool comfort print. As a matter of fact, they use the comfort print on the RSV, on the NRSV, and I just love the like jaggedy, kind of almost Gothic looking letters. I just think that's perfect for the RSV and the NRSV. All right, well, let me know. Do you agree? Is font size the most important thing, or are these factors that I just mentioned more important? God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nicholsworth.